Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. If you're in need of a website, domain or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. This week I met up with Pierro from PPP Camera Repairs. To me, it's super interesting to see someone who's only 22 years old repairing film cameras. Normally, this is something that I think of like someone who's between 60 and 70 doing. It's kind of like a dying art form, and if no one that's in this younger generation starts repairing cameras like Pierro's doing, we're going to run out of cameras eventually. So I decided to go sit down and have a chat with him and just learn a bit more about how this all came to happen. And hopefully, maybe some of you watching will be inspired to start repairing some cameras so that we can keep this going and the cameras don't all break and run out. So I hope you enjoy.
My name's Pierre, I'm 22, I repair cameras and my business is PPP Repairs. So I first got started in repairs because I used to I still volunteer in charity shops, and a lot of them were being thrown away in the bin. And it was such a shame to see these lovely beautiful objects be thrown away, so I started repairing them for them, taking them apart. A lot of the time I broke them all, but as the years went on I started to repair them more and more, and that's how I got into it, just trying to revive these broken cameras back to life so people could use them, especially students, because a lot of students were always looking for them to use. I had a basic knowledge of electronics and mechanics, I guess, and just taking them apart you learn more and more. I learned everything through reverse engineering because no one would teach me. Even now I try approaching many places in London to learn the knowledge of the elder repairers, but still won't pass down. So I learned everything through reverse engineering, taking it apart, trying to put it back together, seeing if it worked. A lot of the time it's trial and error and takes a few attempts before getting it right. It accidentally became a business. So I started repairing for a shop, a local camera shop, and they said, oh, you should do an Instagram, it's really interesting what you do. And more people kept telling me, so I thought, okay, I'll do a post. Just posting them, and then I got contacted by Film's Not Dead. I went along to see them and they were really helpful, and they did a post and it all kicked off, and then sort of spiralled upwards into a business, which was quite a good thing. So I started getting people asking, oh, can you repair this, can you repair that? I said, yeah, send it across, and doing little bits here and there for everyone. And then as time went on, it just built up more and more. The business itself has been going about 4 or 5 years now, which is quite a while, because I started off quite early on in a camera shop learning repairing, just a little local one. So it's been going for quite a while. I started off with just 1 or 2 repairs, but now it's a full running business. It's international, which is crazy. We're doing repairs for Hong Kong, America, all over the place, India. It's mad. So to begin with there's like 1 or 2, but now it's got to the point where there's like 10 boxes turn up a day almost. Like on a busy week, it's just the postman hates me because there's so many to carry, but on a busy week about 10 or so boxes, if not more, just turn up. So this isn't what I do full-time at all, because I actually study full-time masters, which is, so this sort of just on the side, but I've figured out a system. So I work every day, every evening when I get back from uni, or when I haven't got uni I work all the way through the night, and on weekends, full out on weekends, working non-stop. And I have a good system, so everything that comes in I make sure I know when it comes in, because I do repairs in the week, so they're valued on cost of repair and they're repaired and invoice sent within a week with each repair. So yeah, so I managed to juggle it somehow, no idea. Point and shoots. So a lot of people did repair them back in the day, but now not so much anymore, because the older repairers don't like electronics, they hate them. Just because they can be very temperamental and most of the time need parts like flex cable, which is a nightmare. But I repair them purely because I've learnt a few new tricks. So obviously a lot of the older boys, they learnt stuff back in the day, where I'm relearning and modifying stuff, and a lot of new stuff has been brought out which allows you tools that allow you to repair things in an easier manner. So I've learnt, again through reverse engineering, and luckily what I've been studying has helped gain an insight into electronics to start to understand microcontrollers a lot more, so I can sort of know where to target when I'm repairing. So rather than strip the whole camera apart, there's little bits you can focus on and keep them going. So there's one camera in particular, I can repair it and I have repaired it, and I still do take a few on to repair. But there's one in particular called Olympus MJU Mark II, purely because it's temperamental as anything. They weren't necessarily built to be repaired, and parts were a bit annoying. but they are repairable still. Other than the Olympus MJU, there are a few other cameras which I haven't had the chance to repair yet, purely because they're quite expensive to obtain when they're broken, and obviously I wouldn't want to make the mistake on your camera on the first attempt, but it's something I'm progressing with. I have no idea. I always do camera repairs, always keep going with the repairs, but I would really like to work for someone like National Geographic, custom building their camera equipment for certain missions and certain explorations, which would be really good fun, and sort of more into custom building rather than repairs. It's not as scary as you think. You don't always need instruction manuals. I've never ever looked at a repair manual ever before, because it just, for some reason everyone keeps them in a secret safe somewhere and repairers won't teach you, but you don't need anything like that or someone to train you. Just literally take it apart and learn bit by bit. The best place to start is a box brownie, purely because it's literally got a couple of components which as soon as you take apart you can see how they work, and it go from there, and then once you go from there you can gradually progress, getting more and more complicated, and as you go through the years you learn how the mechanics evolve, so it makes it a lot easier to understand the movements of where it's gone wrong, how it's gone wrong, because it's like Compure shutters, 5.4 cameras. They didn't disappear, they turned out to go into 35mm SLRs, they ended up being the shutter mechanisms in those cameras, so you can see the progression and how everything works is sort of the same, but it's just become a bit more complex over the years. With PPP Repairs, I hope for it to progress further, so eventually taking on an apprentice. It would be nice to train a few more people to keep the knowledge alive and keep film cameras alive, essentially, which is the main aim, and the reason why I set up PPP Repairs was purely just to keep film cameras alive at a reasonable cost as well, because it was becoming uneconomical for most repairs, just purely because it was becoming too expensive. And for the future of PPP Repairs, I would like to start custom painting, as well as reproducing and manufacturing spare parts, which is something I've been working on and worked out, and just need to start saving up for funding, because without the parts a lot of cameras can't be repaired, so it's good to manufacture more parts so keep it all alive for a lot longer, as it seems to be getting more and more popular, which is great. Yeah, so one thing I'd like to do is start up a YouTube channel, just showing an insight into camera repairs, because a lot of old repairers, the knowledge they wouldn't tell you anything is very hidden and secretive, so it'd be nice just to even show you a time lapse of taking apart a camera, because being able to see it, if you're wanting to learn, can make a huge difference, just how certain screws in certain places are hidden and how top plates come off, and just the breakdown of show it's not that scary to do, to allow a lot more of you an insight and hopefully inspire a few more people to start going and start repairing, even with basic or complicated cameras, because they're not all as scary as you would first think.
So, thank you for watching. I hope you found this somewhat interesting. Make sure to follow PPP Camera Repairs. I'll link all of the social channels below, and definitely go and get your cameras repaired. Next week we have another interview, which is going to be an in-conversation with the amazing photographer Phoebe Keeley, so keep your eyes tuned for that. And finally, I'd like to thank Squarespace again for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an amazing platform, all to do with building websites. Whether it's a portfolio for your photography, a blog, or just purchasing a domain, all of this has never been more simple with Squarespace. It's really easy to get a great professional looking website, and you definitely don't need any prior experience. And if you haven't already made a portfolio for your photography, it's definitely something that you should consider doing. And what's great is you could get 10% off your order if you use the code negativefeedback, so it's definitely worth checking out. So yeah, thank you to Squarespace, thank you to you for watching, and see you again, this time-ish, next week.